First, we showed you how to pick crabs with the pros. Now we're turning the mallet over to one of Maryland's favorites.
This crab came out pretty good, too.
You know him as the Iron Man. From standing in the batter's box to behind the wheel of a boat.
So I bought a boat and started just checking out the bay. Almost like when you go back into riding a bike after you rode a bike as a kid.
Cal Ripken Jr. had a boat full of friends, but we watched him pull up and dock it himself.
You use that as a tool just to discover. And so to me, the boat, I wonder what's over there. I wonder how you get there. I wonder how shallow this is, how deep that is.
A boat ride from his home in Annapolis to his pick for crabs, Kentmore Restaurant and Crab House in Stevensville. We wanted to see how he does with a few dozen.
Good. Did you miss me? It's been a while since I've been here.
Yeah.
Can you show me how to slide this off? Is there a trick to that?
Too hot to handle at first, and then the man with the most consecutive games played in baseball showed us he's got game when it comes to picking crabs.
So I take the back of the crab and just lift it up really easy, take it off.
He cleans out the insides and pushes them to the side to keep his space clean.
The reason I leave the legs on, because I believe these can be handles where you can operate from to get the meat out. So then I'll cut it in half this way, I'll break it in half that way. And if you do this effectively enough, and you have your sweetheart close by, you can start to peel this crab meat back here a little bit here. And if you do it carefully enough, if you're not in too big of a hurry, you end up manipulating the legs. And then you end up with essentially what I like to refer to as a flower.
A blossom of that sweet Maryland meat when he hands off to his wife if she's sitting next
Something
to
that you
him.
love. So right now I'm not giving it to anybody around the table. You don't want to crush it too much, but you want to break it enough where you can get the crab meat out.
Andy doesn't toss the legs to the side. His picking goes back as far as he can remember.
When we had crab feast, it was mostly at my grandmother's, my mom's mom, and we would have a couple of bushels of crabs, sit them down there, and you'd spend hours just picking at the crabs and enjoying your family. So it was more of a family gathering. I never knew how to cook them, all these years. But now I live on a pier, and I can put the traps down in the bottom, and you end up with a couple dozen crabs, and I come and cook them in the kitchen.
He's not giving up his exact recipe, but a mixture of beer, water, vinegar, and of course lots of seasoning. Cal did crack open some stories of ordering crabs before long flights to the next game.
And so a lot of the guys that hadn't had the experience of how to attack a crab, like Eric Davis, he was out from California. I invited him to the back of the plane. He sat down. I told him how to do it. And you just needed to get him started. And he sat for the whole 6 hours and ate the crabs. Eddie Murray loves his crabs. And when Eddie came into town, I cooked crabs for him. And he came over and we just had a blast.
It's a way to bond after taking a boat ride. He first learned how to captain a boat about 3 years ago.
I think when you're a baseball player, there's certain sacrifices you give up. And when I look back on it, a lot of the other kids had summer activities, went to the beach in the summertime. I played baseball. And so whether you didn't learn to water ski, you didn't learn to do anything but essentially play baseball, so you put your time in. So I'm enjoying this phase of my life when I moved to Annapolis.
Now one of baseball's all-time greatest players, once at least 2,632 consecutive days on the bay.
I quickly learned that boating is more about the peace of mind that you get when you start to go out on the boat. You want to go to a nice leisurely pace. And it seems like this whole feeling of comes over you when you're on the water.
The man who kept us in awe for 21 seasons is now enjoying all the seasons on the bay. For Chesapeake Bay Magazine's Bay Bulletin, I'm Cheryl Costello.